7.5 years old, which was shortly after the discovery of fire. When I was about 7.5, I wrote a composition for the nuns, what I want to be when I grow up. And I honestly wrote that I wanted to be a sports announcer, which was really unusual. In other words, in those days, the boys wanted to be firemen, policemen, doctors, and the girls wanted to be ballet dancers and nurses and all that. And here's this little red-headed kid saying that he wants to be a sports announcer. But here's the kicker. I wrote that composition left-handed. Now, you might think this is prehistoric, but it was true. When I was in Catholic grammar school, you were not allowed to be left-handed. Honest. And so every day I'd pick up the pen or whatever with my left hand, and the good sweet nuns would come along, whack, with the ruler. And then one day I went home, and we were having dinner, whatever, and I was passing bread. And my mother saw this left hand, and it had all been beaten up. And right away she assumed I had done something terribly wrong and I'd been punished. And she would have been right 99% of the time. However, not this time. And I told her, no, Mom, I'm being beaten up on this hand because they don't want me to be left-handed. So, our family doctor, who happened to be Jewish, which makes it even sweeter, he wrote he wrote to the Catholic nuns that if you force this little boy to be right-handed when he is born to be left-handed, he might stutter, which would have changed my life dramatically. And then his last line of the nun was, and besides, dear sisters, why would you want to change God's work? Aha! Grand slam home run. So I was able to say left-handed. I don't know how many of you remember, it was a big movie. It won all the awards. 2 years ago, it was called The King's Speech. You remember that? Where the King of England stuttered? Way back, 40 years ago, there was a man who wrote a book about King George VI of England. And during the war, King George would tape a speech. And this man worked for the BBC. And what he would do is edit the speech. He would take out all the stuttering, put the speech together, and they would play it on the radio. And after a while, he got to thinking, wow, why in the world would the King of England be so frustrated, which is what they say causes stuttering? Well, when he checked, he found out, sure enough, that the King George VI of England was a natural left-hander, and he was converted to being a right-hander, which is why he stuttered. And if you saw the movie, there was only one mention of the fact, and it went like that he was left-handed and was forced to be right-handed. So I just thought I'd give you the impression the good nuns made on me. And the even better impression my Jewish doctor did to save the day. We have a lot of people here. I don't want to take it, but I'd be happy to ask one or answer one more question.